The Colosseum of Rome is one of the most iconic structures in all of recorded history, and is considered to be one of the seven wonders of the New World. Originally commissioned to be built under Emperor Vespasian in 72 AD, this structure was finished 8 years later under his successor and heir, Emperor Titus, with further modifications being made under Emperor Domitian. These three emperors came to be known as the Flavian dynasty, and thus the Colosseum was originally named the Flavian Amphitheater for its association with their family name Flavius. This iconic structure measures 615 feet long and 510 feet wide, with a height of 157 feet, and was built almost exclusively from travertine stone, which comes from limestone deposits around the mouth of hot springs in Italy. Sitting in the center of Rome, the Colosseum distinguishes itself from other Roman amphitheaters of the time, because it is freestanding and could seat over 80,000 people, whereas other amphitheaters were built into hillsides and usually had an average of 6,000 seats, making the Colosseum over 13 times the size of other amphitheaters. Originally commissioned by Emperor Vespasian as a gift to the Roman people for a place to go to experience excitement and thrills, the Colosseum served as a place to see various spectacles throughout the day. During the early parts of the day is when the Colosseum would host its Venatinoes, or more commonly named beast combats, where contestants were brought in to fight against various exotic beasts such as lions, bears, and even hippos. During the middle parts of the day is when the Colosseum would host its Meridiani, or public executioning events, where criminals sentenced to death would be executed in very memorable ways for the audience to see. Finally, during the later parts of the evening is when the Colosseum would host its most popular events, the paired combats, or more commonly called gladiator fights, which served as the main entertainment for the Roman people, as well as a chance for them to see the emperor display his prowess. While these were the main attractions hosted within the Colosseum, other activities were also held there on occasion, such as reenactments of popular plays, as well as workshops for the citizens of Rome. While the Colosseum was largely unscathed for most of its early life, there were two natural disasters that left it temporarily unusable until repairs were made. The first of these two events occurred in the year 217, where the Colosseum was badly damaged by a fire caused by a lightning strike which destroyed the wooden upper levels of the amphitheater's interior. The damage caused by this was not fully repaired until the year 240, and underwent further repairs during the years 250 and 320. The second natural disaster during the Colosseum's early life was an earthquake that occurred in the year 443. Work on the Colosseum to fix the repairs needed followed through the years 484 and again in the year 508. Before the second natural disaster struck, however, the Colosseum was already experiencing a major decline in attendance from the Roman people due to Emperor Honorius banning gladiator fights in the year 399, after being moved by a monk named Telemachus, who was stoned to death by Roman people after he tried to stop a gladiator fight. While the gladiatorial combat could no longer be held, other contests did continue well into the 6th century. By the later end of the 6th century, however, the Colosseum underwent several radical changes, the first of which was a small chapel had been built into the structure of the amphitheater, and the arena itself had been turned into a cemetery. Along with this, the numerous vaulted spaces in the arcades under the seating were converted into housing and shops, which lasted up till about the year 1200, when the Frangipani family took over the Colosseum and fortified it, using it as a castle. Later, in the early 14th century, the popes moved from Rome to Avignon, which caused a population decrease in Rome, and left the region insecure. Due to this, the Colosseum was largely abandoned by the public, which led it to become a popular den for bandits. Then, in 1349, the Colosseum took severe damage from what is known as the Great Earthquake, causing the south side of the Colosseum, which laid on less stable terrain, to collapse. Much of the stone was then reused to build various other structures such as palaces, churches, and hospitals across Rome. The Colosseum remained this way until the year 1377, when the Pope returned to Rome and the Coliseum was restored by a religious order called the Arsan Confraternita del Salvatore ad Sanctum Sanctorum, who then inhabited it until the early 19th century. Today, the Colosseum stands as one of Rome's most popular tourist attractions, receiving millions of visitors annually. The effects of this pollution and general deterioration over time prompted a major restoration program, which was carried out between the years 1993 and 2000.